remiss of us not to briefly touch on what was an eventful Premier League weekend. And Mark, I'll start with you on Liverpool versus Manchester United. And I think even the most hardened of Liverpool fan just wasn't expecting that. That second half, 6-0 in the second half. It just, I can't put it into words. Try your best now in maybe 90 seconds or so.
I don't even know where to begin, because it was a kind of nip and tuck game for the first 35, 40 minutes at least. United were very competitive and in the game, but I guess what do you do now? Do you kind of write off everything we've seen between September and March because of that result and that collapse? I don't think you can, but it's hard not to be concerned about the manner of the defeat and that collapse, particularly a bunch of senior players losing their heads and downing tools in a manner which is just kind of unforgivable, really, considering the progress United had made. We were both, Adrian and I, quite positive about United's opportunity to go there and get something out of the match. But I guess hindsight, whether that's the right way of going at things, but it has been a culmination of a really, really hectic schedule for Man United. Perhaps in that second half, things caught up with them a little bit. It was their 20th game since Christmas in a 68-game schedule. That's a match every 3.4 days, basically. And got a cup final in there, 2 semi-finals as well. It's hard, but still completely unforgivable. I'm not even sure where to analyze it in 30 seconds. But one for the history books, obviously. So I think even watching it just didn't feel right. It felt weird watching it, but kind of hilarious at the same point too.
Yeah, hilarious is the word. I was laughing by the last couple of goals because I was just like, this is ridiculous. Miguel, I know you were at the game, so I want to put a slightly different slant. We've obviously heard a lot about the blame against the players, but did Ten Hag get a couple of things big time wrong? The first, maybe not having Rashford taking on Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I thought some of the substitutions were strange at 3-0 and even 5-0 they took off Casemiro and Martinez. I just thought they were strange, and they definitely compounded a second half which got away from United.
Yeah, and even the positioning of, this is related, I suppose, where Rashford was, but the positioning of Bruno at the start of the game. And it just felt like it all kind of fed into, it created gaps in the United team that were exacerbated by a number of issues. Really, it was almost a little bit of a perfect storm in the sense, I think this is a squad on one side, United, who've overexerted themselves the past few weeks, especially as Ten Hag does like a relatively tight 11, in contrast to Graham Potter, who we'll talk about. Whereas Liverpool have obviously been underperforming for pretty much the whole season. And as Klopp made a specific reference to after the game, the last week has pretty much been the first time where they've had full complements in training up to the level he'd want. And I think all this came together. Now, all this coming together might lead to a 4-0 or 5-0. To go to 7, and it wasn't just 7, it was also that second half, anytime Liverpool attacked, it looked like they were going to score. And it could have, there was that missed header from Konate. Robertson had a big chance. It could have been 10. Yeah. But
trying to stifle the laughter. Yeah, I like it.
that speaks to one other thing where, while United are clearly, this isn't the wheels coming off, or at least it shouldn't be. They've clearly made huge progress. It maybe speaks to one thing, that Liverpool's highest level, which they've only very rarely hit this season, is still higher than Manchester United's, maybe by a little bit. And that sometimes happens with teams who are either in decline or maybe more relevantly now in transition, where there's that muscle memory that kicks in big games. We already saw with Liverpool against Manchester City. And I think all of those things came together here.
Yeah, Adrian, we spoke to each other post the Arsenal game on Saturday about how fearful we were of Manchester United and how well they've been doing this season. You got to be disappointed that some of those leaders, and like the Casemiros, the Varane, in a big game like that, to just be part of a team that loses 7-0. Surely there's a bit of experience, the old school Rio Ferdinand used to always say, we're going to lose the game here 3-0, guys, and that's the end of it. Let's shut up shop.
It's a bad sign. I think the body language of the players was poor in the second half, and of senior players as well. So that's a problem potentially moving forward. I think that how you respond to setbacks is often what makes a team. And last season, you saw Arsenal struggled badly when they went behind. Things would fall like a pack of cards. They've sort of learned from that, and now we're seeing the opposite. Maybe at the stage United are, that they're not quite mature enough as a team to handle setbacks and disappointments, and it might be something that we don't see until next season them improve on. But yeah, that would be a concern if I was a United fan. But they're still a very, very good team, and fully expect them to end up comfortably third.
Yeah, and look, the Sky talk was fascinating. We say what you want about the fan way the Sky have gone about it. It was great telly that hour and a half with Souness, Keane,
Well, just
Carragher, and
watching
Neville.
or listening to Carragher and Neville was fun in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite fun. Roy Keane at one point didn't say anything for about 35 minutes of live airtime. It was just brilliant. He just let everyone else dig themselves into holes. But look, it was a fascinating game. It's why we love football, I guess, the shock nature of it. And we will be previewing the Premier League on Thursday.